Welcome to Tuna Cheki's Africa Year in Review. In this series, we'll look at all of the notable happenings that took place in Africa this year.
Zimbabwe agrees to pay a staggering $3.5 billion compensation to white farmers. Zimbabwe caved into Western pressure and agreed on Wednesday to pay $3.5 billion in compensation to white farmers whose land was expropriated by the government to resettle black families. Moving a step closer to resolve one of the most famous policies of the late Robert Mugabe. The land seizure were one of Mugabe's signature policies that sawed ties with the West. Mugabe, who died last year, accused the West of imposing devastating sanctions on the government as punishment for taking back its land. This is because 20 years ago, the late Zimbabwean president Robert Mugabe carried out mass eviction of about 4,500 white farmers and redistributed the land to around 300,000 Zimbabwean families, arguing it was redressing colonial-era imbalances. Top African banker Mr. Adesina cleared of corruption charges after a witch hunt by the United States. The president of the African Development Bank has been cleared of corruption charges after a review by an independent panel. The United States, one of the biggest bank's shareholders, insisted of a new inquiry in April after an internal review cleared Mr. Adesina of any wrongdoing to begin with. Apparently, the United States of America were not happy with how the African Development Bank said was giving loans to African countries for development and thus sought to remove him unjustly. Africa is again burning and still the world does not care. For the last 2 weeks, fires at the Tsavo National Park in Tsavo, Kenya have been raging with zero coverage from any international media houses. The Kenyan government has been battling the fierce fires that is threatening vegetations and animals at the Tsavo West National Park. Fresh fires, which started last week and is being blamed by arsonists by the government, are raging all over the park. This is the 5th fire at the park over the last couple of weeks, with concern growing over whether external factors are to blame. The Kenya Wildlife Service in a statement said that it had contained the fires with the help of local volunteers, the National Youth Service and the military, but strong winds in the areas had reignited them. The African continent nears 1 million coronavirus cases, leaving almost 21,000 Africans dead. As of August this week, the confirmed COVID-19 total from 55 African countries has reached 968,612 cases, almost passing the 1 million case threshold. The reported deaths in Africa has reached 20,628, and with recoveries of 630,000 so far. That is a higher recovery rate than many other regions. This is compared to almost 18.5 million cases and almost 700,000 deaths worldwide. Namibia's president rejects Germany's reparation offers for its colonial-era mass atrocities. Namibia's president, Hage Geingob, says his government has turned down Germany's offer of compensation for colonial-era killings, calling it not acceptable. Geingob said in a statement that Germany had continued to call for efforts to seek redress with Namibia and those affected in the massacre. Germany's colonial troops killed almost 100,000 Herero and Nama people in the southern African country between 1904 and 1908 in response to an anti-colonial uprising, which Germany only offered its first formal apology in 2004. Descendants of the few survivors are still seeking a $4 billion compensation from the German government, for which they claimed was an orchestrated campaign of extermination that preceded Germany's genocidal policy during World War II. Burundi has joined the likes of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Namibia in demanding reparation from the colonizers. Burundi wants Belgium and Germany to pay $43 billion in reparation for the harm done during decades of colonial rule over the nickel-producing East African nation. The move follows similar calls for compensation by the Democratic Republic of Congo after the Belgian King Philippe in June offered his deepest regrets over his nation's colonial past in the DR Congo. Burundi also wants Belgium and Germany to return cultural material and art stolen between 1899 and 1962 back to the country. The European country of Greece secretly took out more than 1,000 migrants and refugees from detention centers, some of which were Africans, and abandoned them in open seas. Reports has it that 1,072 migrants were sailed on the edge of the Greek waters territory on inflatable life rafts and abandoned by the Greek authorities. Multiple sources, including academic researchers, Turkish coast guards, and independent watchdog groups, said they found that there were at least 31 different incidents of the expulsion of migrants in the past few months. Sources say that masked Greek officials took migrants, including babies, from detention centers on the island of Rhodes while it was dark outside and abandoned them in open seas. Mali's president, Ibrahim Keita, has just resigned, only hours after he was arrested by Mali soldiers following months of political unrest and protests in the West African nation. Wearing a surgical mask in recognition of the coronavirus pandemic, a weary-looking Keita appeared on state television to announce he was peacefully stepping down in order to avoid bloodshed. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, shockingly told the British people to stop being ashamed of its colonial history. He was quoted saying in an interview by ITV that the United Kingdom should stop its embarrassment of their history. Here is what he had to say.
That and they're trying to restrain me from saying this. But if it is correct, which I cannot believe that it really is, but if it is correct that the BBC is saying that they will not sing the words of Land of Hope and Glory in Rule Britannia as they traditionally do at the end of last night of the proms, I think it's time we stopped our cringing embarrassment about our history, about our traditions, and about our culture, and we stop this general bout of self-recrimination and wetness. I wanted to get that off my chest.
The United States forces Kenya to accept its plastic waste. The United States of America will force Kenya to relinquish its ban on single-use plastic in a new trade deal, according to the New York Times. Kenya has been negotiating a free trade agreement with the United States that will remove tariffs on imports and exports, where each country will have free access to each other's economies. But some nefarious American oil companies have taken this opportunity and added conditions of exporting more plastic materials, waste, and trash to Kenya, according to the New York Times report. Akon has just officially launched its $6 billion futuristic city in Senegal. The Senegalese-American artist, whose full name is Alouane Damala Badara Akon Thiam, was in Africa to lay the first stone in his 2,000 acre of coastal land given to him by the Senegalese government. Construction, he said, is set to begin early next year. Akon City will run on a cryptocurrency called Akon, the performer said. It will be self-powered and environmentally friendly.
This project, we're looking at Akon City as to become the beginning of Africa's future. And our idea here is to build a futuristic city that incorporates all the latest technologies, cryptocurrencies, and also the future of how African society should become in the future.
This is a show where we talk about how international media houses cover Africa, okay? And in this video today, we're going to talk about BBC and BBC Africa. They put out a weird article, how can I say, a scathing article where it was insinuating that Africa is doing well with coronavirus because of poverty, right? So let me just show you what they tweeted out. So this is the tweet that they tweeted out. It was, coronavirus in Africa, could poverty explain the mystery of low death rate? So these guys, they're trying to wrap their heads around why Africa is doing better than Britain, why Africa is doing better than all the big developed countries, right? They just can't understand or cannot accept that Africa is better at doing something than them, right? Africa handled the coronavirus very early. Africans implemented masks almost immediately. South African companies, Clicks, Tresemme, and Unilever under fire for racist ad. South African pharmaceutical beauty and health retailer Clicks has come under fire for posting a racist ad made by multinational companies of Tresemme and Unilever on their website. The ad, which featured on Clicks' website and has since been taken down, brought the wrath of African and South African netizens. It referred to white hair as fine and normal, and African hair as dry, damaged, frizzy, and dull. So unfortunately this week 50 miners died in the DR Congo. A mine collapsed and they died, and this was because of unregulated mining, where they mine gold, cobalt, which all these companies, Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, Google, need to do their day-to-day activities of making all the devices that you use, okay? So what's the problem with this story, okay? Not very many media organizations covered the mining collapse, and none of them kind of featured why these people in DR Congo are risking their lives to get these like minerals that these companies depend on, okay? So just last year, Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Tesla were sued for sourcing minerals and for sourcing these illegal minerals and for the use of child labor in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay?
The mysterious death of 350 elephants in Botswana has finally been solved. The mysterious death of 350 elephants in the Okavango Delta in Botswana between May and June of this year that baffled the world has finally been solved. The culprit, a toxin produced by cyanobacteria, was found in the water and is the killer of the more than 300 elephants in Botswana. Botswana officials confirmed this, announcing the results after an investigation into the deaths.
Here, African countries have said no, right? Many African presidents during their General Assembly speech have called for Africa to be represented in the Security Council, not as temporary members, right, which they are, but as permanent members of the Security Council. So the presidents who called out for this were the Ghanaian president, Nana Addo, the South African president and current African Union chairman, Cyril Ramaphosa, the Nigerian president, and the president of Africa's largest economy, Muhammadu Buhari, Equatorial Guinea's president, Gabon's president, South Sudan's president. Please note, this is not coming out of nowhere. Africa has been fighting for these permanent seats for almost 2 decades now.
Freak fire breaks out on Africa's tallest mountain. A fire has broken out on Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's tallest mountain and the highest single freestanding mountain in the world. Tanzanian authorities are trying to contain it, according to Tanzania's National Park Services. The cause of the fire is not yet clear, but both Kilimanjaro National Park and the Tanzania National Park Services confirmed the fire broke out late Sunday afternoon. Tanzanian officials say the blaze started in Wona area, a rest center for climbers who use it while climbing up the mountain. Ethiopia blasts Trump's remarks that Egypt will blow up its dam. Ethiopia has denounced belligerent threats over its huge dam that is nearly being completed on the Blue Nile, a day after US President Donald Trump said downstream countries like Egypt will blow up the dam. He continued, the project is an existential threat during a call to Sudan after the Trump administration practically forced the Sudanese government hand in recognizing Israel in return to be removed from a terrorist watch list.
So today we'll be looking at CNN and how they can't just believe how Africa is doing well against the coronavirus, okay? So there's this reporter who's interviewing the CDC chief
Massive ecological disaster looms in Africa's Rift Valley region. An ecological disaster looms in Africa's Rift Valley region as high water levels of Kenya's Rift Valley lakes have flooded properties and displaced communities. Over the past 6 months, the lakes of Kenya's Rift Valley have risen to levels not seen in at least half a century, as this follows one of the wettest periods in the East African region in living memory. There are many lakes along the length of Africa's Rift Valley, which run from the Red Sea in the north to Mozambique in the south. The rising water levels in the Rift Valley lakes is not only devastating lives and destroying property, but also affecting key tourism activities in the region. A statue of Africa's greatest scholar, Cheikh Anta Diop, unveiled in Senegal. The West African country of Senegal has unveiled a new 2-meter-high bronze statue of arguably Africa's greatest scholar, Cheikh Anta Diop, in the heart of Dakar on November 3rd. Born in 1923, Cheikh Anta Diop was a world-renowned Pan-Africanist, historian, anthropologist, physicist, and politician. Diop's work has posed questions about cultural bias in the scientific research that the West fabricated in order to exploit the continent and later on colonize it, by emphasizing the contribution of Black Africa to civilization, especially that of ancient Egypt, Nubia, and Kush. The reason why we do this show is to hold media organizations, especially Western media organizations, in check, right, on how they report on Africa and the false narratives they share with the world, okay, about Africa. So in today's video, we talk about how BBC Africa, again, is attacking Rwanda. So the article basically says that the Rwandese government is forcing Rwandans in the diaspora to pledge allegiance to Kagame and the Rwandan government by force. They have no choice, and they're actually calling it the Korea of Africa. They're calling Rwanda one of the most developed and developing country in the world, not just Africa, the North Korea of Africa. West Africa's new proposed currency, the ECO, being held hostage by France. West Africa's Francophone bloc has been accused by other West African countries of hijacking the common currency project by bringing in France and its colonial influence in the whole project. The ECO, the proposed single currency for members of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, was scheduled to launch this year. But in September, Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara indicated that the project may be pushed back 3 to 5 years because of COVID-19. His comments were made after ECOWAS leader announced a postponement of the summit, which was supposed to be held the same month.
French government finally agrees to return looted African artifacts. The recent decision by the French government will see a Dahomey throne returned to Benin and a prized sword returned to Senegal, among several other stolen artifacts. The French parliament voted in favor of returning looted artifacts to Benin and Senegal. The National Assembly had 48 votes in favor of the decision, none against, and 2 abstentions, according to Euronews. Currently, there are millions of stolen African artifacts all over Europe and America.
Donald Trump's Last Resist Act towards Africa is a new visa policy that will require almost half of the continent's countries to pay a whopping $15,000 bond just to visit the United States of America. The outgoing administration of disgraced US President Donald Trump recently issued a new temporary rule that could require tourists and business travelers from 24 countries, most of which in Africa, to pay the massive bond. The Democratic Republic of Congo's President, Felix Tshisekedi, has just announced the repatriation of the last remains of Pan-African hero Patrice Lumumba that were being held in Belgium. He made this historic proclamation during a speech in front of the parliament meeting in Congress in the capital Kinshasa. He said, "A dignified burial will be reserved for the Democratic Republic of Congo's first Prime Minister at next year's Independence Day celebration."
Facebook accuses the French military of online brainwashing targeting Africans. Facebook accuses people linked to the French military on the 15th of December of running a covert online influence operation targeting parts of Africa. It's the first time Facebook has publicly linked a campaign like this to individuals connected to a Western military. According to Facebook, the operations targeted the Central African Republic and Mali, and to a lesser extent, Niger, Burkina Faso, Algeria, Côte d'Ivoire, and Chad. The deceptive tactics allegedly used, which include using Facebook to pose as locals in the targeted countries, mirror misinformation campaigns run by the Russian government. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our African videos. And remember, you can also leave your suggestions of topics you'd like us to cover in the comments below.